into it. And what we obviously have to talk about Kevin Durant. Let me hear your thoughts. Kevin Durant is staying. Also, you're in the coolest room right now.
Yeah, this is like the game room here. Is the audio good? Because I'm right next to this cooler thing.
You can barely hear a fan. You can kind of hear a fan, but so let me hear your thoughts on Kevin Durant.
Well, Josh started college. Congrats. This is. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. We were talking about this with Luke yesterday. Like, a powerhouse is gonna have to sign with, or gonna have to trade for him. So it just makes it logistically difficult. I think, dude, you got Kyrie there. You got Ben Simmons there. Just give it another year.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, this is the last year. If you don't like what Kyrie's gonna, if you don't like what's going on, you trade Kyrie at the deadline for a rental. You get at least a first round pick or some players in exchange for him. Cool, that's awesome. So you're basically giving Kyrie a test run till the trade deadline. And if everything's Gucci, you're going into the playoffs and hope. And Ben Simmons has been cleared, I believe, for 3-on-3 the other day. So basically, Kevin Durant has a good team. We talked about the shooters they brought on. I think this was obviously the best thing. And if it doesn't work, they just trade him next offseason. And now teams are prepared to trade for Kevin Durant next offseason.
Yeah. This works out for everyone.
Yeah, let me hear your thoughts. Do you think this is also the last year for Steve Nash? I think Sean Marks stays regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I think Nash is probably on the hot seat here for this upcoming year.
100% on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think he should.
100. I don't. Was it you who said this? I don't know. It might have been my friend Cole. I said this yesterday, but yes, it was Kevin Durant, partially Kevin Durant's fault for the the sweep against the Bucks. But how much can you put that blame on entirely on Kevin Durant without blaming Steve Nash to a degree?
The Celtics, yeah. I mean, you're playing the team that makes it to the finals, so that's good. I mean, if Boston went into who they play next, Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee without Middleton almost beat them in 7.
Yeah, sorry, I said Bucks instead of Celtics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It took Milwaukee 7 games to take down Boston. There's no reason you should be swept with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant healthy. I don't care who you're playing. Like, I don't think. I'm sure Steve Nash is an adequate coach. He's exponentially better than a coach I would be, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, you have all these. At the time, you had like 2. I mean, you still have 2 Hall of Famers, but you bring in Harden. I already said Sean Marks and Steve Nash should have been fired at the end of the year, but it makes sense. Like, until they're really gonna trade Durant, that's when I would start making those fires. But I don't think Steve Nash is the guy, and hopefully he can figure something out. I know he's a hard worker, and he's smart at the game, so hopefully he learned a lot this past season, and he can make those proper adjustments. Hey, TP, Thomas from outside Toronto. Yeah.
TP, we haven't seen you in a minute.
That's good.
My dog's over here, like, chewing something I didn't want, so I don't know if you saw me off screen literally having a tug of war.
Yeah.
So, no, but, yeah, I think it's the last year for Steve Nash to show. And, I also know some things were out of Steve Nash's control, like the, Kyrie not being there all the time.
Yeah,
the injuries, all the trades. Okay, that was all out of Steve Nash's control. So I do agree there's something we can't just, you can't just entirely blame Steve Nash, but you can blame Steve Nash for stuff. But at this point, I think it was in everyone's best interest to move forward and try it for one more year.
Yeah.
And this is where I think we go into exactly, and we show the roster that I think isn't a bad roster. We talked about it before, but I don't think we've ever done a Brooklyn Nets preview on this channel. So I want to hear your thoughts down below, yours, or even I do want to hear yours, obviously. And I don't like looking at the salary cap. I want to look at the real GM version of this because it shows me the positions. There we go. This was the one. There we go. Okay, let's zoom in. All right, I think we're good right here. Booyah. This is the Brooklyn Nets. Let's get these positions right here. So this is what the Brooklyn Nets are looking like next year. I think they have one roster spot open. So Carmelo's been rumored. Let me hear what are your initial thoughts looking at this roster on paper? I want to stress that on paper.
On paper, I got a at best second round exit. I still have significant worries for their defense, but your offense should be good enough. I like the additions that they made. I think Royce O'Neal's perfect replacement. He's Bruce Brown was a very difficult loss, but I mean, you got KD, you got Kyrie. You'll make the playoffs, even if they're not fully healthy all year. My concerns are even on paper, like they got a good roster, dude. Kevin Durant hasn't been healthy in 3 years. He hasn't had a healthy season in 3 years. KD's like about to turn 34, dude. So I got a lot of worries for this Nets team. I think this is really your last shot, but they made some nice additions. They lost some pieces, but they made some nice additions. I don't know who's you're gonna need a year from Claxey. You're gonna need a year from Claxey. I just hope this team doesn't I hope they don't botch their next signing, like a Blake Griffin re-sign or something like that.
A Blake Griffin re-sign would be terrible. No, what this team needs to do is legitimately make sure that they go out and we have a list of free agents right here. LaMarcus Aldridge, I don't think needs to be brought back. I wouldn't think Dwight Howard would be the end of the world if that's their pick. I'd rather take up Montrezl Harrell because he would give you scoring, but he doesn't help defensively. And I know I even agree with your fucking beloved man crush. Hassan Whiteside would be a better addition than Dwight Howard. Carmelo would be good. Out of that whole group right there, you're not going to convince Iguodala to come. Jeremy Lamb gives you 3-and-D, but he needs to stay healthy. And the only other guy right there is Dennis Schroeder. So you got Dennis Schroeder. Jeremy
they got
Lamb.
Patty Mills, so I think they got to go big.
Yeah, so Jeremy Lamb's the only wing really that could come in and be kind of like a 3-and-D guy for them. But besides that, I don't know if you agree with me. I think looking at a guy, again, Dwight Howard wouldn't be the end of the world, but if you're looking at a big for that, I think Hassan Whiteside would be the guy. I think really they need more wings because I'm fine with Claxton, Sharp, and I think they're going to go small ball 5, Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because then they run Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, either Royce O'Neal or Kessler Edwards, and then at shooting guard they run either Harris or Curry, and then at point they run Kyrie. 4 shooters, and then you have Ben Simmons at center on defense, and then on offense he's playing like point, like a Jokic role.
I don't think that they're gonna, even with a Whiteside, I don't think their defense can last them to the second. I don't think they could get to the conference finals. You're gonna need a lot of scoring
though. Guess who they brought in as their assistant coach this offseason? Guess what team he spent the last few years at, and guess who he coached on a national level? Igor Koskov. Okay, Igor Kokoskov. Okay, he used to be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. Then he was the head coach of Slovenia national team. Guess where he spent last season with? The Dallas Mavericks. And he was credited as the architect of the offensive game plan that the Dallas Mavericks have last year. So could we see Ben Simmons be used as like a Luka Doncic and with Kyrie or Kevin Durant, like a Luka Doncic running the horn sets that they run, and having Ben Simmons and basically be either the Jalen Brunson in the relationship or the Luka Doncic initiating offense and then driving and kicking, and then either have Kyrie or Kevin Durant play the Brunson role and having those two guys basically run the offense. I could see. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Simmons should run the offense. He's surrounded by shooters.
That's what I'm saying. And his thing is driving to the basket, and like maybe he learns how to draw fouls, or just defenses have to collapse on him if he's driving to the basket. He's still a good driver to the basket. So if you just tell him keep driving to the basket, and if you feel like you can get it. If you don't, kick it out to one of your 4 shooters.
Yeah, I think if you anytime you're playing Ben Simmons in a point guard role, it makes it hard on the defense. Like, your best wing's gonna have to guard him, but then at the same time you also have Kevin Durant on the wing. So
exactly,
they should be. If this team can be healthy, I mean, they'll win 50 games easily. I think they'll be a top sixer. I think they could be anything 1 to 6. And if you can
But
get it rolling with Simmons, man, I mean,
what's your problem with defense? So this is where, because
where is it?
I think Nick Claxton, Ben Simmons, great defenders. Durant Sharp, we don't really know. Royce O'Neal, like you said, they got a perimeter guy. He's their, the younger version of a Jay Crowder. That's what they got in Royce O'Neal. Similar skill set. Kessler Edwards, he has the size and he's shown flashes of being defensive capability, but I think interior defense, they're fine. I don't know if you'll agree with me on that one. I think in posty, I'm not worried about Claxton, Simmons, Durant, and Sharp. I think they can hold down, especially if they sign a big man, another big man like Whiteside or Howard. They're fine with interior defense. I think the problem is the guards, the point of attack, perimeter defense, top of the key is where they'll get exposed. What's your thought on that? Are you in the same page with me, or is this just?
I mean, I just they got some nice pieces. Royce is gonna be nice. Claxton never played over 20 a night in his career, or average, I should say.
They gave him $10 million a year, though.
That's not that much money. I mean, basically, what I'm saying is, you're asking, Clax is gonna really. I mean, especially you got Simmons out there, it's gonna shrink the floor, but you're not gonna be able to play Clax 30 a night. So 19th best defense last year. I would imagine, maybe they improved a little bit to the middle of the pack, but that's the thing is, middle of the pack's enough with their offense.
Oh yeah, if you have a top 10 offense, you need just a middle. You just need a top of 10 to 20 ranked defense. But obviously, I'm not talking about regular season. I'm talking playoffs, and that's why I think you said they were a second round bounce. Is that why? Because you think when playoff time comes, we've seen how having guys like Gary Payton II or even Drew Holiday, and Marcus Smart.
You can't be in the play-in tournament if you're Brooklyn. You can't go up against Boston. You can't go up against Milwaukee. I think you got to get home field advantage, and if you can get home field advantage and play who would be a more just a not Boston or Milwaukee, I think get to the second round. I just think you got teams like Milwaukee and Boston who are so good on both sides of the ball that if they're healthy, I think that like they did last year against Brooklyn, I think they're going to be able to give them some trouble when it starts mattering more. But I think they're seeding an improved seed, which hopefully means a healthy KD. And now that the Kyrie stuff is kind of figured out a little bit more with the COVID stuff, so they should get home field, and that should get them past the first round to me.
Home field, yeah, they'll get home field. Home field.
You know how important that is in playoff football. So,
but
I'm worried, but I'm not panicking about Brooklyn. If I was a fan, I'd still feel good because I still got my guy.
I think the thing that they did good is that I think this team has so much scoring off the bench with, Kevin Durant being backed up by Kessler Edwards, Royce O'Neal. We don't know if he'll start, but just TJ Warren, Kessler Edwards, Patty Mills, Cam Thomas, and last time we saw Edmund Summer play real good. That's just a bunch of Cam Thomas. I see could win a sixth man of the year in the second or third season. Patty Mills and Kessler Edwards and TJ Warren. If he can just average 15 a night, I think game over right there. But my worry, I think in the playoffs, Kyrie Irving can be a plus defender. He tries hard enough. I think I'm not worried about Kyrie being bad defensively in the playoffs, but who's going to be, because we know that Royce O'Neal, Durant, Simmons, Claxton, those guys can step out on the perimeter, but there's going to be a big old hole at that guard spot next to Irving, because I'm not putting my money on Curry, Harris, Summer, Mills, Thomas to play.
Yeah, that's probably when you go Royce, and then you let KD and Ben and Clax take the.
You play Royce at the other. So you're saying go huge Simmons?
No, I'm saying no. I just mean if you're going up, because like Patty Mills, Kyrie, Seth, Harris, Kessler, Sumner, it's not the best defensive unit. So that's why I'm probably if I'm playing the Chicago Bulls, or if I'm playing a team with a good ass guard, I'm probably throwing Royce on that guard, and then I'm letting my long dudes take care of the interior and the wing.
That makes sense, actually. Okay. I hear you. I hear what you're saying right there. So, if we just then, who's the out of all the? There's no real good. All the good defensive guards are gone, right? In free agency, besides maybe Jeremy Lamb.
Yeah, maybe an Eric Bledsoe helps him out. Then.
Holy shit! I wouldn't mind Eric. Would that be the smallest backcourt in playoff basketball? Kyrie and Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, I don't want a Rondo. I don't want a Schroeder. I actually don't even want. I don't think that they need Melo.
I don't know. I think Melo would be cool. I just think like my big if is again. I just get scared that they could get exposed in like defensively. Just I think a trade could happen where they go and do that. But yeah, so
yeah.
I'm not too worried, but yeah, no, I think that's definitely the thing to be concerned. But again, so you're saying this team's just a second round team? That's all?
Yeah, I mean they got the potential, but we'll see how the defense goes.
Alrighty, so
we'll see how the health goes.
I think they're easily a second round team. I agree. My biggest concern is defense in the playoffs, and that's why I think they could be a second round bounce. But again, there's a whole NBA season, and their competition. If they get a good seed, like you said, competition could be easier, and they have an easier route to the conference finals. So
maybe you luck out and get a Miami or something second round.
Yeah, or I don't know Miami, but maybe like a Knicks or like some team that overachieved. You know, like remember when
they'd have to really overachieve, get to that second round. Maybe like the Bulls.